Stream should be ready. I think we are live. Let's see. Just testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we're live. Yes, it looks like, and apparently we are live. And that is a good thing right there. Just having some issues, technical difficulties in the background. I was doing some stuff and I made a little error. Set my live on private by mistake. So now we finally got it ready and we launched. And this is my second live for today. I actually never done 2 live streams at one time in one day, but I needed to do this one because I want y'all folks to see what I'm up to right now, which I believe I'm growing with leaps and bounds currently with my creative process and just more of a adaptation to many different things that I've been able to do in the past. So if y'all folks are tuning in, thanks a lot for watching. We're gonna jump in on what I'm doing basically on the screen. So I am coming up with NFT content, and it seems like it's non-stop, but that is a good thing. I just want to keep going with it. So let me jump in with the transition so you can see what I'm up to. So here we go. This is one of the processes I was playing around with some map material, texture material for the human generator add-on on Blender. And the reason why I'm using the human generator add-on on Blender, if y'all folks have watched some of my previous live streams, if you haven't, I highly recommend for y'all folks to go dive in there and get what you can get out of it. But pretty much the human generator add-on allows you to create some amazing stuff in terms of human generation, human automated content. So what you're seeing here is a end product of a human generator content and my own improvisation. So I've been playing around with it and trying to see what I could do. So y'all folks will get to see this stuff. I'm not really necessarily going to do an how-to. I'm just showing y'all some of the creative process and what it takes to basically go a little bit beyond what you see that the human generator can give you. So I'll just explain some things, but I don't think I'm going to go across every little step and procedure of what I've done here. But you pretty much will be able to get an idea by watching it. So one of the things I had an issue with is the texture here of this material that I have that I created like an eye socket kind of thing. Could turn into a robotic maybe eyepiece or something, maybe a cyborg, or it could be like a mask from a helmet. If I duplicate it, Shift D, and then what would I have to do? Flip it. So in order to flip it and invert it or mirror it, I think I have to use a mirror tool, which I actually never used to this light of day. I never really used the mirror tool, but I know it's somewhere somewhere up here. They have a mirror tool where you can mirror, or you can use a modifier. Let's see, mirror modifier. And let's see, let's go along the Z axis. Flip. I really don't know how to use this thing, so I've never done it before. But I'm not really sure. That part I haven't done. To create a full face mask, yeah, I haven't done it yet. So it's gonna take me some time to figure it out. I might have to watch some YouTube videos or whatever. But let's get back to what I was trying to do. What I was trying to do, instead of duplicating that one, let's delete that one. I'll get back to that. I was trying to fix this mesh because I created this mesh out of a previous mesh of the actual texture. So I created this 3D object slash mesh out of the original 3 object, and I'll be showing y'all folks how I did that in the future as well. But all I got to do is go into the shader editor for this particular mesh, and if I can pull it up, where is it? It's interesting. For some reason it's not coming up. So that's coming up, but this is not coming up. Why is that? Where did it go? That is interesting. Object, use nodes. Yeah, okay. So where is the mesh? Or the mesh material data? Where'd it go? See this one. Okay. Something's going wrong with that. Whatever the case may be, maybe I could add my own stuff. The material output node. Let's see. Texture, and then throw in an image texture. And then we'll throw in the principal BSDF shader and see what that does. I don't know what in the world happened to the other one. There we go. So currently it's only a black mask kind of thing. So I'll go in and I'll select the previous one. Let's see. We had it in the NFTs. So I had this one here. And that was the one with the skin problem. See? So the skin problem comes from over here, where I was playing around with the mesh. Let's see. So I created a mesh portion, not a mesh portion, but more like I masked over the whole eye, and I guess this is the right side of the nose. I'm not sure. Sometimes it's kind of odd and hard to tell what side is what of what you're doing. Hold on one second. Let me just delete that. I don't really care how it looks. I'm just going to go in and spill. Oops. And so basically I didn't have enough surface area covered to cover up like a patch of the eye, to cover up that whole entire material. So actually what I think I'm going to do is maybe remove all of this too. Delete that and then pour some more in there. And then just save it and see what it does. Now, I did not have to really use this. I could have just used the full size of the dimensions of that particular this particular map, this texture map for the face and the texture of the skin and stuff like that. I could have just used the whole entire dimension, which is, you go to the sizing, go to pixels, and it's 8192 by 8192 pixels. So I could have used that and just filled in the whole entire thing, and then that piece, this whole piece would turn one solid color. But when I was originally trying to construct it, I said to myself, well, I don't necessarily want to do that right away. I want to see if I can kind of approximate where everything's at. So I was playing around with it. So now I'll just go in and add this portion, and you'll see that that little error is going to go away. See, now the error went away right there. And now the full image or imagery of it is covered in full. This is how it actually looks. It's like a whole eye socket. And this was what the human generator had selected by default in the editing phase. I didn't even select it. So it was part of the human generator editing phase. So I just took advantage of that, and now I can utilize it. I can turn it into like a metallic type of thing, and then maybe make him like a cyborg. I think that'd be pretty dope to play around with and see if I can manipulate in that format. But for now, I'm just trying to use it as like a mask piece, maybe a little eye piece or something like that for my character, so he looks a little different from all the stock default character of the human generator add-on. So the default characters that come in, they basically look like this. Well, this is the Asian character, pretty much. Let me pull this down so you can see a full view of the character and everything that's going on in the scene. It's not really much going on in the scene. I just threw some pants on him, some shoes, and then a nice outfit, top, and a shirt, like a winter shirt. And I changed the material a little bit, gave him a little camouflage texture, design, things like that. So, you know, you can play around and have fun pretty much. Now, I'm thinking of maybe stylizing this and making it really unique looking. So that would require me to go into that specific space that I created, which is here, and just manipulate this space with maybe some sort of artistic designs. Come up with something that looks really unique, like maybe let's change the color. Yeah, like a thunder rod or some stuff like that. Maybe I can manipulate in a different Microsoft Paint project. So I'm actually playing around in Microsoft Paint, by the way. So maybe I'll do something like that. Change the color, fill it like that, right? And then go in, grab it, and then turn it into transparent selection, copy, and then go into the other project and then just overlay on top of that. So play, and yeah, something to that effect. I can do something like that. But this is like a big one. Maybe put it there like that, and then put some small things going on. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, you can find little unique looking things and then throw it in there, and it may turn it to look a little bit more stylized as a face mask if you wanted to do that. You know, make it like kind of like how they be doing tattoos and all of that stuff. And so maybe he can turn into like a superhero character look, you know, things like that. But I'm not really that good at that kind of stylization of artistic design, but I guess the better you get at that stuff, the more you play around with it, it will start to stand out and appeal to the viewers. So let me just play around with this one and I'll save it, and you'll see I have everything set up to save in a particular folder on my computer, so it's going to automatically update once I choose to go and change the editor portion. This is something different I was working on. So I go in the edit portion over here for the shader editor, go in and boom, open image, and then you'll see there's going to be like a thunderbolt go across the eye, something like that, you know. So you can do all of that kind of stuff, stylize and have fun with your designs and really come up with something unique looking. And I think that would actually take your NFT, if you're trying to create NFTs, it will take it to the next level and next dimension using Blender. Really cool and easy to do. So let's see, what else can I do here? So what I'm going to take this whole section here, this 3D object, and I'm going to play around and manipulate some of the texture. So I'm going to go with metallic, make it like a metal look, and then bring the roughness down and make it like a little glossy, so it looks like a metal eye socket. See that? So then I can play around. I'm just playing around a little bit with the roughness and stuff, and then I don't really mess with too many of the other settings. You can mess with the clear coat and that's going to make it like bling out. It usually changes the reflection and makes the reflection a little bit more blingy than normal. Even if you bring down your roughness, the clear coat will make it stand out. You see that? So I kind of like it like this. This doesn't look too bad. And then when you go with your render, it's gonna look really crazy with the render. I might even try to build him a helmet like that by using his own texture and then just come up with some really ill looking helmet. Cause as you can see, the modeling is not hard. I mean, what I did, I'll show you. I'll hit the texture and just go into edit mode, and it automatically had it set up for the eye patch. And I did store it. So let me see if I can show y'all folks. I stored it as a group. I didn't even know how to change the vertex group name. For some reason, I can't change the vertex group name, but I'll figure it out. I'll have to go into the naming conventions and things like that and try to figure out how to change it. I think you can change it over here, but I'm not sure. Haven't really done that yet because I don't really play too much with vertex groups. When I click select, it should select it, the vertex group for that eye segment. Oh, let's see. Okay, so it's selected in the mouth. Oh, maybe I went back somehow and I omitted it or deleted it. I'm not sure, but yeah, I probably went back and deleted the vertex group. Not deleted it, but I went undo too many times at one point when I was playing around with other parts of it, and I probably got rid of that vertex group. But pretty much you can go in and you can select multiple parts on your own as well. Like you can use your mouse, you can use the select tool option up here on the top of the screen, and then go to circle select. And currently I'm on toggle X-ray for transparent scene display up here in the upper right area. So if you deselect it, then you're gonna go in manually, and let's go back to select, circle select, and then I can circle select an area that I want to choose to build upon. So say, all I'm doing is highlighting vertices, these little vertex points, and these vertex points is actually what creates the 3D model. I used to always talk about that in my other previous videos, but that's pretty much what I could do. I can select that, and then what I would have to do is duplicate it and then go in and delete, actually make a full duplicate of the object after you go to object mode, and then you would delete everything else except for what you duplicated here. So I'll do Shift D, that's a duplication, and then move it. So now I got this whole entire segment copied, and I can go in and manipulate this in the future when I'm doing other stuff. So let's just do the helmet. If I say I wanted to do a helmet, this time I would use the actual I think I'm going to use the head vertex group, because there's a head vertex group that's pre-designed already by the human generator add-on. We're gonna hit select, and that's gonna select everything. See that? And then I'm just gonna deselect certain segments that I don't want to be the helmet. So a good way to do that would be the eye socket, obviously. So actually what I'll do is use the C key on my keyboard. It's the same thing as going up to select and then selecting the circle select option. And then I'm going to use the mouse scroll wheel. I'm going to depress the mouse scroll wheel and then just try to just go over things that I don't want as the helmet, as part of the helmet. All right, so I'll do that again. Hit the C key on the keyboard, circle select, and just deselect all the things that I don't want to show up as part of the helmet. And this is the easiest way to model with a pre-designed 3D model that's already pre-built for you, using like a human generator add-on, or it could be any automated click, button type of automation where you click a single button and then the whole entire character is pre-designed and created for you. Hold on, just going in and just taking out some of the vertices I don't want. Do a little cleanup of the vertices, whatever I don't want to show up in there. You can actually go inside the 3D model's head and look for vertices as well. So you can do all that kind of stuff. Reason why I'm not using the transparent option, this little toggle X-ray, is because I don't want to go through the whole head and then get rid of things that I really want to keep. But that is the way you want to do it, to tell you the truth. So if you don't want to get rid of certain things, just maybe turn it to the side view and then toggle it. And then you go in and then use your C whatever they call it, circle select. So that is using the left click mouse button. I just now selected that whole area, and now this is depressing the mouse scroll wheel. Deletes everything. See that? So everything in that general region is going to be deselected, all of the vertices. So you just have to be kind of accurate with what you're doing. So now I'm just grabbing the whole tongue group. This is like the tongue, the back of the tongue area. And I'm just gonna deselect all of that. You'll see what I'm doing over time, how this will benefit. Let's see, deselect all that. So now the whole tongue group is deselected, and I want the neck to be totally deselected, mostly. Maybe I'm gonna keep a certain part of the back of the neck just to make it like kind of robotic looking. So let's see, let's go for maybe some of this here, some of this segment. And I wonder if I could use the mirror tool. Let me see if I could use the mirror tool. There's another mirror tool in terms of what you choose to select on the vertices. So that one, oh, here goes some of the mirroring tools that I was talking about. It's up here. That one is here using, I don't know if this will work, but it generally should come up from this option here. It gives you the options to mirror, but you can't do it in edit mode, I don't think. So here goes the same tools. These options are right here. Same exact tools. Uh-oh. So that I have to undo to bring it back. So that kind of thing I can't really play around with right now because I don't know how to bring it out in edit mode. But in object mode, you can most definitely bring it out with ease. So let me just individually remove these areas. For the helmet, usually with a helmet, it doesn't cover the ears. So let's just get rid of the ear section and get a little close and take out those vertices as well. Just trying to get somewhat accurate with what I want to select. Oh, and this whole eyeball section should go. So anything dealing with the eyes need to go. There we go. Get rid of this. Oops. So all that's gone. None of the eye section is selected. And the back of the neck, we got a little bit more over here, so we'll just deselect that. And that doesn't look too bad, but I just got a little bit more to go. over here. It's not going to look that great, by the way. But I'm not looking for greatness. I'm just looking for something that's decent. Actually, let's undo that and then try to get it a little bit more accurate on kind of like a mirrored scale. So on one side it looks pretty much approximately the same as the other side. This one has more vertices available. Man, I wish I could just easily duplicate one side and the other, but it's not easy. This part is tedious, but it's much better than having to do the whole modeling yourself. So you basically just, like I said, you're just removing vertices. So it's much easier than regular 3D modeling. This is not like the hard level of 3D modeling. This is the easiest form of 3D modeling, I think. Let's see, removing vertices from a pre-designed character model. All right, so got a lot of the ear out of the way, and just got to get the back of the ear here, and some of this back of the ear. And this part here. Let's see what we got. If y'all folks have any questions, feel free to ask them, but I'm not gonna jump in to comment right now because I'm actually actively in the design mode and creative mode right now, just using all my creative juices to see what I can come up with within a certain set of specifications, because I'm limited to my skills. I'm not like the best at 3D. That's why I use these human generator add-ons and stuff like that. I could get more skilled at it. Obviously, anybody can get skilled at anything in life. You have to just work on it and keep, believing in what you can do. But with that being said, I don't really care to get that great at it. I just want to get something out there and see if people will bite on it, if they like it or not, pretty much. I really don't care if it's me that created it or if it's a generator tool. So the same thing with my animation stuff that I'm learning. It doesn't matter if I'm the actual originator of the animations, as long as I go in, I get a really decent model, and I get my creativity in terms of what I want the animation to look like. So I can go in and edit it out and build off of somebody's, maybe they did motion capture or something like that. I go in and I build off of what they've previously done. That kind of thing. That's how I see it. It's not necessary for me to be the actual person who created the motion capture. It could be an actor or someone, performer. I'm just more like the guy staging everything, like a producer. That's what I want to be, that type of animator slash 3D guy. So I know how to do it, but I don't really care 100% on all the detailing in terms of me creating it 100%. So that looks decent. Hold on one second. I just got a little bit more to work on with talking about details, just the detail of the helmet. Maybe give it like a stylized head shape. I don't know. Let's see. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but if it does look somewhat decent, it will look good once you go in and try to turn it into the model itself. Like you go in and build it out as an actual asset, the 3D asset that comes from it. So let's see. What do we got here? That's not looking bad. I'm just trying to get symmetry to some degree. And let's see how many spaces this is from the eye socket areas and stuff. Maybe it starts here, I think. Oh, hold on 1 second. Edit, undo. My bad. We'll do C. Select all of these. And then go back in to see what we got. Now, some of my ideas come from where I was raised. I was raised in the Bronx, in the South Bronx. And I remember back there where I grew up that I used to always go to the barber shop when I was a kid. And so I'm thinking right now about how a barber used to cut a head, like cut the hair. In terms of the helmet, for some reason, I'm thinking about a stylized haircut at this very moment in time. And maybe making a dope helmet that has like a nice sideburns as well. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I'm just so used to that, like, I don't know, when I grew up, that atmosphere and environment and how people used to style things when I was a kid, that it's like in my head what I want it to look like in terms of that thing. So I think I'll do something like that. I think that'll look really unique. And let's see, maybe something like this. It's really dope that this is how easy it is to create 3D models. Like, as long as you have a pre-design, you can go in and just really edit it how you see fit and just bang it out. Like, once you're ready, you just go in and just complete the process pretty much. You'll see what I'm saying about completing the process. It's really simple on Blender. So there we go. I think that's good enough for me. The ear is a little bit right there, kind of low to the ear. So I think I got like 3 more or 4 more dots to throw in, and then bam. Now that looks dope. I think that would be dope for a helmet. What do y'all folks think? I don't know. I'll jump in to hear from y'all folks, but for now, I'm just gonna go and duplicate this. So Shift D, and then maybe I'll go for scaling it. So hit the scale option, the S key, and scale it out just a little bit, making it a larger size like that, and maybe moving it forward just a little bit, like that. Maybe I might move it a little bit more forward, because when you scale it out, it changes the ear section. Now I noticed that I have one little speck right here flying in the air. So I'm gonna get that and get rid of that point. But this looks pretty dope as of what I got so far. And you'll be blown away by how you can benefit in terms of the creative process on this part. How easy it is to turn this into a 3D asset. Right now, I just copied the mesh. It's not a 3D asset yet. It's still part of the original design that I had with this part that I built using the mesh as well. So I guess you can call this mesh modeling. I guess that's what they call it. I'm not sure. I think I heard of that before. So let me just select that little dot. You see that little yellow dot? I'm gonna delete that. That's a vertex. And then now that's gone. So I don't think I need to do anything else right now besides going in and going to object mode. So all of that was done in edit mode, and now you see it's just a fleshy piece. Looks like the same exact texture, same color. Now how do you get out of this segment itself? Well, you make sure you use the object option, and then you can go copy object if you want, and then you duplicate it, or it's already duplicated, I should say. So you go and go object paste. So what that's going to do is take the whole entire 3D model and it builds in a duplicate or a copy. So now I got a copy of it. So what I want to do with this one is basically deconstruct everything that's part of it, except for the mesh piece that I want to turn into a helmet. So this portion up here, the top portion, I will keep. Everything else will go in the back burner and be deleted. So what I want to do first, so I don't ruin anything, I'll go in and I'll take out the bone. The bones I want to get rid of, but I can't take out the bones until I detach it from the rest of the mesh. So how you do that, you select the mesh, you go to object, and then you go to parent, and you go to clear parent. And the mesh may disappear, and then you have to relocate it. So I think the mesh is actually relocated on the previous location that it came in at. So I'll move it, and now it's no longer attached to the bones. Now, if you tried to delete the bones previously, you won't be able to delete it without deleting the mesh because they're parented together. So now if I go to the bones and I hit the delete key, the bones will go away. See? So now the bones is gone and the mesh is still here. Let me do alternate H to make sure I still have my original bones. Just make sure you have your original bones and you didn't move the original bones and delete that one. Because if you do that, then you won't be able to animate your character. So now that's done. Now all I got to do is go in and select this mesh and make sure it doesn't select your previous mesh. If it selects your previous mesh, that means that they're tied together somehow, and that's not a good copy of the object. With the copy of the object, it copies everything, but it doesn't connect the data, so the data are separate. So now all I got to do is go to edit mode and pretty much select the head again using the vertex groups. So I go to select, and now what I want to do is move this portion out of the way. So actually that did not work too good, but we can just move it maybe up a little bit, and then we're going to select everything else, the whole entire body. So actually what we could do, don't even move it, sorry about that, let's hide it. So we use the H key to hide it, and then we select everything else, or we just do A to select all. So you can use the H key to hide it after you select it in the vertex groups, and then delete the vertices on that body, and then go alternate H, and it brings it right back. So there we go. Now we got the whole head and just the head itself. Now what we need to do is separate the head from that mesh portion that we created, that we wanted it to be a helmet. So let's see, the best way to do that, let's see, it's kind of tough, but you can just go in and just start to select certain segments and then pulling it out of the space. So what I should have did is created, man, if I would have created an actual vertex group for that new head piece that I created, the resized head piece, then I would have been able to go in and just select that and then do the same thing, move it or hide it, and then delete the rest of the head. But I kind of screwed myself up a little bit, moving too fast. So if I wanted to, I can go back step all the way to where I was at and just redo that part. But I don't know if I'm gonna do that. So instead what I'll do is, let's see, we'll just select everything from the back side and then manually go in and see what I can get. Let me select one point on it and go to view, and then go to frame selected, and then drag out. And basically I'm going to do C and select pretty much everything here. And since I'm not using the transparency, it's not going to go through. See that? So that's that. Let's do this part here. C, and just try to get everything in there that I can without touching the rest of the mesh. Well, not mesh, but you know what I'm talking about. At this point, I can do transparency and probably get through without getting the ear in there. Let's see, like this. So we'll select the transparency or toggle, whatever, and then use the C and then try to get the rest of it in there. Just by rotating a little bit and being careful not to get the other portion of the head. At one point, at some point, I can actually hide everything that I just selected if I wanted to, but then it's going to be hard to determine what portions is what. I may have to cut some of it at a certain point where I didn't really want to cut it, but I'm probably going to have to cut it just because the meshes are kind of crossing each other at some point, like around here. See, the meshes cross, and at that point it's going to get hairy with selecting the vertices. So I don't really want to select the vertices at that point. So let's see what I could do. Let's see how close I can get to it without selecting the vertices of the stuff that I don't want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use Control and a single click. There we go. Just to highlight multiple vertices at once on the same line segment. Now that one was an error. Let's go undo that. So we got that one. That was an error. Okay, I just got to be accurate with what I'm doing. You can multi-select vertices as long as you use the control key on your keyboard and you have a long segment of vertices. Okay, I'll just use the C over here. Deselect that and just try to be accurate here. There we go. And then just these two vertices is left. All right, so that should be good enough right there. Just that segment, and everything else can go. Just have to finish this side. So to finish that side, we'll do C, select all this. You know, sometimes this stuff can be tedious. Oh, my bad. Undo. I forgot to take off the toggle the X-ray thing. Had to take that off because that's gonna cause some issues in vertice selections. Okay, so I'm pretty much scot-free. I'm home scot-free with this thing. I think I got everything selected except for the stuff that I don't want. Oh, up here, the upper portion of the helmet. So we're gonna get that selected and a little bit more vertices. Okay, and right there, that looks like everything. So that is game on. So I'm gonna hide this, hit the H key, and just check around and see what else I have left. And yep, that's exactly what I want. I'm not worried about everything else. So I just do A to select all and then delete vertices. And now I just go back with the alternate H, and now I got the helmet piece. So this is all that I wanted basically. I could have done that easily if I chose to make it, like I said, a vertex group, but I didn't. I neglected to do that. So now I was stuck with doing more work. So Now all I have to do is go back and delete that other segment. But now we got this segment ready for modeling. So we're going to go in object mode, and now it's ready to stage it for modeling, which is pretty cool. Now you may have some artifacts and all kinds of other stuff that shows up on it. I'll show you how to do the cleanup on that part after I get rid of this other section. So we're going to go to 3D object, go to edit mode, and we want to get rid of the other one. So we're going to go to head, select. Oh shoot, and it's doing the same exact thing. So like I said, I screwed myself up when I was in edit mode, and now I got a huge segment of the head, and I have to delete all that other stuff. So it is a lot of unnecessary extra work that I put myself through, but yeah, something that was unnecessary that I really shouldn't have had to do. So if you're doing this type of stuff, make sure you go through the right steps of turning the segment that you created into a vertex group. So now I have to go in manually and get rid of all of these vertices, which is a pain in the butt because I'm gonna have to go in hand delete all the vertices that I don't want, or else it's gonna have leftover vertices flying around on the screen that you really don't need. So like I did before, we're gonna go and select everything without using the transparency. So that's the transparency. This is without. Use the C and then select everything basically that highlights, except for the ears. We don't want the ears to be selected, so we're gonna try to avoid the ears to some degree, but bring in as much as we can of everything else. Oh man, I made a big error. So at least y'all folks are learning by my mistakes, hopefully. When you're doing this mesh modeling, you don't wanna make grave errors that you're gonna regret down the road, because then you're gonna have more work to do. See, like I'm gonna have to take these vertices away. There we go. And I got a lot more to work on. My bad. Got a lot of work. All these vertices. Oh boy. So this is the kind of stuff that makes or breaks your modeling process. If you're playing around doing this stuff with pre-designed characters, like it can become very tedious, and then to the point where you're like, you just give up on it. But what I recommend is not to give up no matter what. Whatever you're trying to create, just keep going and go as far as you can with it all. That's what I recommend, because the more you take your time and you become patient with the stuff you're doing, the better. You'll surprise yourself over time, and you'll start to see that you can do more than what meets the eye, than what you thought previously that you can do. Say you was limited to some degree in your creation process, your creativity. You'll start to scale that out and really go further and further every time you go at it. Like, I just messed that part up. I don't know how, but so for me per se, like I said, I'm not the best at this stuff, but I'm definitely not the worst at it in the Blender community, but I'm probably definitely on a low totem pole when it comes to 3D art, because I just don't make my own stuff 100%. I go in and find ways to beat around the bush basically and I beat the bush up to the best of my ability. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense, but say this was a bush and it was something that was in the way of me succeeding or something, I really try to beat it up. So let's see. I think I got everything. I almost got all the vertices selected that I need, so I can delete this thing and throw it in the garbage. Cause I don't need that. That's not what I'm gonna use, because it's attached to the other segment of 3D mesh. So I'm gonna delete this, all these vertices, and now as you can see, it doesn't have anything around it. See, all of that's gone, and that's what we need. But we don't want any stray vertices anywhere, because that's going to show up if I do animations and stuff like that. So one of the things I just noticed is some of my mesh is wrecked. See that? I screwed up. Some of my mesh is wrecked right there. So you don't want that to happen. So I'm going to bring my mesh back, edit, undo, and I'm going to deselect the things that I shouldn't have deleted. And so use the C key here and deselect all of that. There we go. And go in, hold on one second, and get rid of all those selections, because that's the original mesh. All that is the original mesh. See? Okay. See, that's the only thing with mesh modeling, is that it's not easy in terms of selecting things. If you don't go with the right steps and procedures, you're gonna basically screw up the previous mesh. So now let's see if we could delete it and see what it does. Delete vertices, and now it deleted it without messing up that mesh. Here we go. So this segment here, we probably can leave it in there if we wanted to, but I'm still gonna get rid of some of it. So making sure that I don't select the other mesh that it's crossing. It's crisscrossing into the other mesh. But you can see, obviously you can see what the difficulty is of when you got the meshes converging one under the other, or whatever the case may be. This is not the easiest way to model when it starts doing that. So for those who have no idea of what I'm doing, it's a good moment and phase to kind of see what someone is doing, obviously, because over time you'll be able to recognize what you're doing yourself once you get to this point of learning in 3D. Dealing with 3D, pretty much you're just gonna have to learn a lot. It takes time to learn. It took me some years to figure out a lot of this stuff, how to manipulate vertices. When I first started doing vertice manipulation, it was actually a few years after I started with Blender, but that was because I was intimidated and I didn't really want to learn Blender at first. I took so long to start my journey in Blender, and that's probably why I'm not that great at it as well. You know, like if you get to something and then you get intimidated, it's hard for you to learn. You can't be intimidated. You have to challenge yourself and you have to keep going. That's really one of the best ways to learn something. You just keep going at it. Don't let it intimidate you, or the people who are really good at it. Don't let that intimidate you, because you don't seem like you're that good. Instead, just keep going. Don't give up. Okay, so we're gonna go through the other side. See, on the back, they have other meshes for the clothing, so I can't really get to that, and that's the problem with what I did. So I'm just gonna delete, and there may be an option on Blender where you can delete any loose vertices. So I can do that, like select all, and then go to mesh, and let's see. See, this says separate by loose part. You can use stuff like that. Clean up. So decimate geometry, no. Delete loose. See, it says delete loose. See, delete loose vertices, edges of faces. So I go like that, and it basically will get rid of all the loose ones that shouldn't be connected. So it looks like it fixed it. There we go. So other than that, I think I'm ready. We're gonna go back to object mode, and now we're gonna select this mesh over here and then go in and play with that part. For this part, like I said, it has a lot of artifacts, meaning other stuff that shouldn't be there. It has like little pieces of hair meshed together, and that's because the way that the human generated add-on works, even on this one, it took that mesh and it mushed it and messed it up. Maybe I shouldn't have done what I just did. Let me do undo, and then let's go back to object mode. Nope. Let's go to undo, and maybe one more undo. Now let's go to object mode. Nope. So that hair stuff, yeah, that's an issue. I shouldn't have had that as an issue because the original mesh, I really did not have that issue before. So let's see. The way that I got rid of the issue on, say, this one, I would have to go in to the modifiers that they have and get rid of the particle systems. So a good example, I'll show you, like if you look at the hair, the human generator add-on throws in hair using particle systems. So you go in, oh shoot, hold on one second. Edit, undo. Let's see, modifiers, particle systems. Oh, you have to right click and delete. And then right click and delete. So there we go. See, the mesh hair is gone. So now it may mess up the hair that I have built into here for the eyelashes, but I'm not really worried about the eyelashes. I don't care because this character I'm turning into like an android anyway. So we can say bye-bye to the eyelashes. So let's see, we go into this one and the modifiers here, and there goes the particle systems. But I have another one somehow. It looks like it's two tied together. Let's see. HG body, HG Curtis, modifiers, vertex groups. Let me just get rid of the particle system. Let's see. That's one. That's the other one. Okay, let's go back the other direction. Undo. So the bottom one I want to get rid of first. There we go. And then yeah, I'm gonna have to get rid of the other one because you see the eyelashes are like scattered all over the place. So we'll delete that one too. There we go. So we're not worried about the eyelashes per se. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal breaker. But as long as I'm able to build upon what I'm doing, I'm good. And that visual doesn't matter to me because I didn't have hair in the first place. So let's hide the bones. We don't really need this lighting, but I'll leave it there. I'll just hide it. Hit the H key. Okay, so now we finally at the helmet stage. We can play with this. How you can make the helmet out of the mesh. What you do, first you go into the editor for it, and this is what the human generator developer built for all of the textures for the 3D mesh of the skin and the head and everything like that. It has beauty spots, it has all kinds of stuff. Freckles, this is freckles. It has splotches, etc., etc. It has a lot of stuff built in. But what you're really focused upon and what you really care about when you're trying to make like a new mesh as a mesh modeler or something like that, like I just did, you're just worried about the texture, what do they call it? The texture node. So you're worried about the image texture, and let's see, hold on one second. We'll go to shader editor, we got that. Add node, shader, texture. So the image texture, basically. So this is the image texture here. It's in the color section. They named it color, and then it has male underscore skin underscore light underscore 85. What this is just more of a PNG file. It's that image texture that y'all folks saw me play around with. If you started with my live stream or been watching it, this is the one that I played with here. This is the image texture for the skin and the face and the full body texture, basically. This is like a map, the mapped out texture, kind of like a UV map texture. So you can use this obviously, and how you get to it, the human generator add-on has all of that stored on the main, from the main add-on folder. You go into the textures, and then from the textures you go to mail, and then from mail you go to default. I use the AK default, and then they have a whole bunch of texture maps here built into it. So if I like go up all the way back to the human generator folder, which is this main folder, then you go into textures, then you go into mail, if it's a male character, and then I got default 8K. So from there I went in and I selected whatever texture I wanted. So say it was this one, male underscore skin underscore light underscore 85 something. You right click it and you can open it up with MS Paint, so Microsoft Paint. So that's what I'm using. You could also use Photoshop or whatever image editor software that you can utilize that you have on your computer that manipulates the graphic. You have to have some sort of tool that you can manipulate the graphic. And then once you edit out whatever section that you want, then that's up to you how you see fit what you're going to do with it. So with this one, all I'm going to do is use the sizing. Like I was telling folks before, 81 by 92 is all that I need. So I just need a blank texture of 8192, and I'll just put some sort of a color in there. So let's use another one just to show you for shits and giggles. So say it was this one and I was manipulating this one. We'll just do file, new, don't save, and we will manipulate the sizing by going in, deselect the maintain aspect ratio, so I can go in and manually put in 81, I think it's 52, 81, 52, something like that. And then we'll go down and drop the size, the scale of the zoom, but we'll just go in and see if that's what it was. 8192, sorry about that. So it's 8192. It will leave maintain aspect ratio so that when I change one, it will change both. And there we go. So now we got that file. We'll put in a color. I don't know what kind of color we want the helmet. Maybe we want the helmet to be black, or off. Let's offset it. Instead of it just being solid black, we'll make it like a off black. So something like that. Says dark gray, but we want that color, and then we're gonna splash that in there. So then we'll go save as PNG, and we'll put that into I have it set in the NFT folder. I created an NFT folder on my computer. So from there, we'll go in and call it dark gray. So this is basically going to be used as the image texture for the helmet. So I'm going to go here. In order to add it, you just go to this little small folder icon that's part of the image. What do they call it? Texture node type of thing. So we go in and we look through the NFT folder and we go for dark gray and open image. And there we go. So now the whole thing is taken care of. So to get rid of all the bumps, see how it has the texture of a skin? You don't want that as a helmet. So we're going to get rid of that. So we're going to basically take the map and we're going to delete everything else. So we're going to keep, let's just highlight what we don't want and delete it. I'm just going to go blank all the whatever graphic I had in there, which is not much. But we're going to delete everything basically except for it. And we're going to move this over. Hold on a second. Move this over to the center, kinda. And then we'll connect. Let's get rid of this one little node dot and then connect color to base color. And it should come up as dark gray. So there you go. So this is the dark gray color of the helmet. And then we want to work on the texture. Turn it metallic. Maybe throw a little specular in there. And we have an HDRI somehow in the scene. So that HDRI background is probably going to cause an issue. So I'm going to put on scene world. Now we're going to need a light. So I'm going to throw a light in there. Shift A. So point light. And let's throw the scene lights in there. Bam. So now we got the light. Pretty good. Duplicate the light for the helmet just to see what we got with the helmet design. And keep working on the helmet. So let's throw in some roughness. Bam. That looks good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is turn this into a solid structure. How you do that? You go to the modifiers, so add modifier, and then go for solidify modifier. And now it's a bona fide helmet. See that? So simple. So that's how the mesh modifications work. Now we can take it and drag it over to the head position that you wanted, and it's a bona fide helmet. Boom. Now another thing we can do is turn it into a part of the head. So we're gonna resize it by using the what do they call it? The scale tool, and then reposition it so that it fits into the head, and scale it back out, and just move it in position so that it becomes part of the head. Hey, baby. Oh, hey, Uncle Arch. You can come in. No, I'm good. I'm just showing people how to model stuff.
No, I wanted to go to my office.
Okay.
Okay, if I can get there by 10 o'clock. We leave at around, you know,
Okay. That sounds good. All right. All right. So there we go. That looks really good, actually. I think it looks good. You can play around with the textures and things like that and just build upon it how you see fit. You can go in and then put really cool designs like I did with the lightning bolt, and maybe play around with other contours and designs for the helmet. You can go in and do all kinds of different things how you see fit. You can also merge it with the texture if you wanted to, but I don't really want to merge it with the texture for now. But what you probably want to do is well, you're probably going to have to do that if you want to animate it, because now the helmet and that eyepiece, they both separate segments, and you may have to merge it with the bones. So once you finish all the designs that you need to do, you're probably going to have to parent it to the bone, and hopefully that it works when you do that, because when you're trying to parent it to the original bone, it may cause issues for your model. Now everything should be finalized, obviously, so whatever you did previously through the human generator add-on, here goes the add-on itself, make sure all of that stuff is finalized. If it's not finalized, then you're going to have some issues. So all of my stuff is finalized. I basically got everything set up the way I want. The only thing I didn't complete was maybe turning the armature into a rigify armature, or if I wanted to go in further and maybe throw in, what do they call it? Let's see, I guess I got to go to pose. Yeah, I gotta go, let's see, through pose, and then, no, not pose. Here we go, face rig. So you go through expression, and then you can choose face rig, and you can use the AR kit and basically submit it and get your character ready for AR kit animation, so that way your facial structure will animate and all that stuff. You can get the lips and mouth motion working, things like that. I got all of that set up for other characters, but this one I'm just trying to work on the modeling part. This kind of, the helmet at the moment does look kind of cheesy because of the color, I think, but I still can work on it and try to redefine it just to look a little bit better. For now, it doesn't look that great, I think, because of the black hair kind of doesn't go with the black hair, because it's a dark grayish tone. So I might have to work on that and just recolor it to make it completely dark, completely black. And like I said, throw in more unique looking designs or something like that. But for now, I think it's not bad. It's much different from what I originally had set up. I'm not sure if it would sell like this if I was to put it on the market as an NFT, but you never know. You never know what people will want as something that you can come up with and create. I most definitely want to work on the other portion of, maybe I wanted to make it like a full head mask, and then I'm gonna go in on other levels and try to reconstruct the facial structure, doing mesh modeling, and then like totally build it out so it looks like an android. I think that'd be really dope if I could do that. But it takes time. Like I've never done this before. Actually, this is the first time I ever done this. But the reason why I done it is because I was successful at doing it with this particular eyepiece. So once I got the eyepiece structure figured out, then I wanted to go a little bit deeper in getting like a helmet made and things like that. So I think that's how it works. Like when you're trying to create something out here online, or even at home behind the scenes, like once you build something, then it's more like a matter of duplicating what you've done, the procedural process, is more like a matter of duplication. So let me just go to cycles so y'all folks can see the rendering part. Now, when I do get it to render in cycles, I would have to actually stop talking, because when I'm doing a live stream and rendering in cycles, it doesn't work out that great. It's gonna like kind of pause and freeze frame, and like my speech will sound like a stuttered kind of mishmashed type of a speech. So let me just not minimize. Let me zoom out a little bit, and then I'm gonna throw in. Let's see how many samples I got. 1,024. We'll throw in a denoiser for shits and giggles, and then we're gonna go in and get it to render through the viewport shading, and I'll hush up. All right, so I paused the actual render. There's a pause button up here, so you can pause the render at whatever point you want, and then try to reconfigure things. But if you try to rotate the viewport, it won't rotate, because you're trying to do it with it paused at the position that it was at. What I want to do is change the eyes, and maybe I'm gonna go with like a reddish eyes or something like that, just to see how that turns out, because that will actually stand out a little bit more. But actually we're gonna shut off cycles, go back to Eevee, and instead I'm gonna work on a helmet, because it doesn't look that great, like I was saying. So maybe we can turn on the subsurface scattering. But the thing with subsurface scattering, it messes with your render, and it tends to delay your render a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna turn this black. Probably wasn't a good idea. What I used is the original color. We're gonna go in, go to save it, and then go back to it and see what I got here with the black. I think the black is gonna look much better. Open image. Okay, yeah, so the black definitely looks better with the black Thunderbolt. And what else do I want to do with that? Not much else. Maybe I might make it thicker. Now again, with that, using the modifier, if you want to make it a little bit more thicker, it may cause some issues. So let's see. All right, that's going the other direction. That's thinner. This is thicker. Thicker, thicker, and thicker. There we go. Now let's see what we got here. What in the world is that? I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just playing around just to see what it does. Yo, that's crazy. That looks crazy. So if you go too far, you may really make it look nutsville. So I don't recommend for you to go too crazy. Let's take off the fill. Let's see that, what it does. So that's the fill. Let's see only rim. Oh, let's see, that's not bad. Okay, so why does it have that thing on the bottom? I don't know what that is. Let's go with even thickness. Take out the fill. Yeah, what is going on there? All right, so you keep going, it's gonna go crazy. You see that? That's what the modifier is doing. It's doing too much. So you don't want to go too crazy with it. with all that. And even when it comes to rendering, I think it's gonna take up too much of the CPU. So you want to just keep it to a average thickness. Offset, I don't know what this does. Oh, there we go. So the offset is what you want to work on. There we go. So the offset is actually making it look much better. I like that. So now it looks like a helmet. Yeah, so it's the offset. That's the issue. So that looks much better. That looks dope. All right, so if I render this, let's see. Yeah, I think that's gonna turn out to look much better. So it's the offset that you're supposed to play with. So I'm gonna bring this down to 0.1 and bring up the offset just a little bit. 0.1 is not that great, so we got to use both. Manipulate both. Yeah. There we go. All right, so that's not bad. We'll go a little bit more on the offset, maybe. Yeah. All right. I like that. And yeah, we don't have to do too much else with that. I like it like that. That's not bad. So black helmet. Now all I have to do is work on the texturing. Because the texturing, like, I really didn't spend much time on it. I think that's not bad. Let's go with the clear cut or clear coat. See, the clear coat really goes crazy with that. How about metallic? See, now with black, you don't really have to go crazy with metallic because black is good enough on its own. The clear cut, let's go with roughness or clear coat. And I'm having some sort of a glare in this section here, which is not really that great. I don't know why that's probably specular. Yeah, it's a specular. You don't want too much specular. So yeah, that's not bad. That doesn't look too bad. All right, so with this, I'll probably go for a render. You can change the background too if you wanted to. Let's see, scene world, and then change the opacity. Go with a different scenario look of the scene. But with this, you can't render it in cycles. You won't get the background to render. It's just going to be a viewport render. Now for the eyes, I can go in and find the eyes. Let's see. If I do recall, the eyes are somewhere. Let me see. Where's the eyes at? The eyes are like a pink color, right? I don't know why I chose to make the eyes pink, but I was just playing around just to see what I can come up with. I don't recall where the eyes were, but it's definitely on one of these maps. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can go to, we got the body, go to the modifier, and then this is hair, eye. No, I don't want that. Eyes is right here. Here we go. Oh, okay. So you just go to the eyes and then you pull it up. HG eyes. and then mesh. We go to the inner. Yeah, it's the inner. So you go to HDIs, you go to mesh, and then you go to the inner, and then you can put OBS Studio is not connected. That's crazy. Should still be connected. So now at this point, all I have to do is render it just to see what it looks like. So switch it over to cycles. It's not going to show the background, by the way, like I said. And I'm going to stop talking at this point so y'all folks can see it without much error. So we will actually switch, and then I'm going to get rid of everything on the screen. Where did it go? Okay, so I brought y'all folks back. I did notice certain things about it. There's an inner portion that's showing up. I don't know what that is. Looks really weird looking. So let me just try to do something real quick with the helmet portion. And hold on one second. Maybe turn this metallic on. But I noticed that the helmet portion is doing something weird. So maybe we'll just like maybe show it up like this. It almost looks like a one of those Star Wars character helmets or something. I don't know. Looks different. It's a little too big, I think, but I actually like the size for some reason. It's just offsetting, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, and I'm also gonna take off some of the glow, maybe like that. Now let's go back to cycles. So I'm pretty much done with this, but this is like, you know, you really can go with your creation and come up with what you want your NFT to look like using the human generator add-on in general. It's pretty unique. The tool, you can go in, once you auto generate your character, then you can go in and play around doing all this mesh modeling thing like I was saying. And it will take you to a different level if you keep manipulating, keep going further and seeing what you can come up with. The more you work on it, the better. I think the better the design and the better the look and all that stuff. Just takes a lot of time, you know, it takes patience. So we're gonna hit cycles. Oh, and I had to hit the play. Yeah, so the rendering is done. For some reason, it's doing something odd. It's throwing this inside portion. As you can see right here, it has like a little brownish inner look. I don't think that's too much of an issue for me per se, but I do wonder where that came from because I did not create it like that to have that. That could be just because I was playing around with the offset and all that stuff, so it may come from the offset. I'm not sure. And the resizing, manipulating it from its original shape. But y'all folks get the idea. Just keep messing around and seeing how far you can come with what you're trying to create. And I think you can go far doing all this stuff. I look at it as something very unique. In terms of 3D modeling, you can really do different things with Blender. Blender is really dope in terms of freedom. It gives you the freedom of choice, the freedom of artistical creativity. So you can really use your mind. If you understand the tool, once you start getting really good at the navigation and you start to understand all the different inner workings of these sidebar tools, whatever's on the side, lower half portion of the screen, to the right of the screen, to the left of the screen, and wherever you can get tools to work. Once you figure out every little tool over time, you get better and better at the specifications to what you want to show up on the screen. So you can take a 3D asset and manipulate it even further than the average person can do. And those kind of knowledge points, once you learn that stuff and you gain those skills, I mean, there's pretty much nothing stopping you from creating what you want. So it's like up to you. It's up to your creativity levels and scales of what you want to create. As you can see, it was very simple for me to do this stuff. It just took a lot of time to showcase it, and because I made a lot of errors on the technique that I was trying to develop. But I pretty much got it down packed to some degree of what exactly I want. For my Blender projects and NFTs and things, I think I'm gonna just keep enhancing these characters and make them different versions and make them look unique and build their own assets. I'm gonna be building out of their own mesh. I'm gonna be building assets for them. Even clothes. I think I can build clothes like this. It really doesn't seem too difficult. But I saw a lot of people do it in the past using other 3D software. So why not do it with Blender myself? You know what I'm saying? Now the whole thing with UV mapping and stuff like that, I don't know how to do UV mapping per se, but I can learn how to do it. And it's basically a way to detail the designs on your 3D models to make it look even more specialized, and like you'll have all kinds of different things show up on it so that it's not the standard or the average 3D specification. So that's why some people, they have that knowledge and that skill and they can do much more with it. Like they can really take their designs to such a level and degree of what they want in accuracy that it stands out much more than the average thing that you can come up with. So this is just giving y'all folks an example from my own skill level, which is somewhat novice on Blender. I mean, I don't know if my skills is intermediate when it comes to understanding the tools itself, but I don't really know 3D modeling that well to be able to utilize the tools to the best of my ability. So like I said, that's why I lean on all of this auto generation tool type of stuff. But other than that, that's enough about me. I'm out of here. Joe, love and peace to all. Hopefully y'all folks have gained something from it, from this sort of a 3D modeling NFT. It's more like not really a how-to, but it's more of an experience, so to speak, that I've just jumped into because I'm trying to build on these platforms. Let me show you before I leave, like the NFT stuff, platforms that I'm on. So the recent one that I joined is known as Bitski. Bitski actually was the first one that I joined because I was looking up stuff related to NFTs and I ran into this one. Somehow I found it randomly and it was recommended. Actually, I found it through an investment website because I was doing some research through an investment type of a platform that I'm tied to. I'm on an investor app. So I was on that app, and then I followed the lead from there that related to NFTs, and then I looked into the information. And this particular platform is actually one of the major investors is Jay-Z. And since I'm into rap, I like rapping as more of a hobby and things like that. I decided, let me see what they have to offer. If Jay-Z thinks this is worth the time and money to invest in, then it got to be something about it that is really appealing, because he has swag for sure, and his style and his skill, his level of being a entrepreneur and being being a boss in general. He's pretty high level when it comes to the boss status. He's a billionaire, obviously. One of the first rappers that turned billionaire, and his business savvy is pretty high. Like, I watched a lot of his stuff that he had out there, in terms of like documentary stuff, giving advice, giving lectures to people to help them to understand how he was able to get to that scale, that level. So if this platform is good enough for him, it got to be something to it. That's how I figured, because why would he invest in it if he doesn't see something that is beneficial in it? And I'm pretty sure he had advisors and all kinds of stuff before he invested in it. So what I threw up these 3 NFTs right here. So this is one I built on Blender. Y'all saw some of the making process of it. This is 2 heads, Siamese heads. I fused them together and came up with the asset. Pretty cool using Blender. I turned it into a voxel creation from using some voxel converter. And then I went on to this other tool known as Magic of Voxel, which allowed me and afforded me the tooling to create these assets here, which are really different, severely different from what a regular 3 asset would look like. So as you can see, this is my original design. This is part of the Siamese heads. I was just playing around and manipulating with the mouse, and somehow I went and stumbled over this. So I had to save it, and I was playing around with all the settings on Magic of Voxel until I got to this point. By luck, I didn't even know what I was doing. So this was one of the things that I came up with, the very first one, and it just blew my mind that you can do that with a voxel tool. And then I came up with this one. This kind of looks like blood cells. And if y'all folks want any of these NFTs, feel free to check it out. My profile on Bitski is, let me go to the profile. It's Virtual Intel. So one word, virtual and Intel. INTEL. So you can go check it out. Feel free to check it out. If y'all folks are willing, would like to support my efforts in a digital format. I have a good number of NFTs built up into it. I have 50 left for each of them, these 2, and then the first one that I showcased is 20 left. So I don't know if anybody's gonna purchase any of this stuff. I really don't care. I just decided to throw it up because it's something that people are doing today, and you never know, it may benefit in the future. Who knows what people would like in terms of your creativity? You never know. So that's that. What else do I have? I have another profile that I threw up, a few other profiles. So let's see, list item. I have an OpenSea project set up, and this one on OpenSea, I did not complete it yet. I wanted to show people this part before I actually completed it. So I threw up a live stream earlier today talking about this, trying to help people to learn how to actually get their NFT on OpenSea for free. And I watched a YouTube video, and the guy in the YouTube video helped me. I'll do another video about it and try to give him credit. And also I'll put the link in my video's description for that live stream, but I didn't have enough time to do it. But whatever the case may be, I'm going to do another video just showing y'all folks the full process because I didn't complete it. I had just one portion, which is this part here. You have to unlock the currency in order to complete the process of unleashing your NFT onto the OpenSea platform for free. So let me just see if I can do it. Hit unlock. It says there was an error with the transaction. Please try again. And the guy was having errors as well. I think it could be something related to the pricing, but there's all kind of reasons why things don't work. This says scheduled for 28 days. I actually wanted it to go for longer than 28 days, but since I'm doing this is my first one and I don't know 100% what I've done right or wrong throughout the whole thing, I'm just testing it. So it's just more of a learning process. So let's hit the X over here, maybe change the fee. Maybe increase it to 0.6. Now hit unlock. I'm not sure why the currency issue is popping up like that, but it was an error with transaction. I don't know. There's all kinds of reasons. Like I said, sometimes these platforms, they just don't work for you at certain times when you're trying to use it. So you just have to keep that in mind. Let's see. This is for people who are not logged in, by the way, when it says make an offer. So, and I can use Bitsky to log in. So just bear with me. Let's see. All right, we're gonna go to sell 0.06. Hit the X, change the dating, make it 8. So I want it to be 6 months. All right, 6 months, and then complete listing, unlock. I don't understand why this thing is not working, but eventually I'll get it to work. Once I figure it out, I'm most definitely gonna show up with another video helping people to figure out how to get this working for themselves. But mine's for some reason isn't working. Let's drop this down to 0.4. Maybe it's an amount issue. I don't know, man. How about we make it $278? I don't really want to sell it for a high because I just don't see it that it's worth that much, but somebody else might see it that it's worth that much. I don't know. Let's see. Yikes. It's not working. 0.1 ether. About 0.15 ether. Make it $417. Still not working. Yeah, so I saw the guy, he just played around with the numbers just to see what it does. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have to try a different browser. Maybe that will work. So he talked about that too. But other than that, I'm out of here. Your love and peace to all. Mike Pugh signing off. Feel free to subscribe if your folks haven't subscribed. Feel free to share this socially if you feel that this is going to benefit other people. I mean, if you run into this issue, you can check out my other video, obviously, on it. Or just type in onto YouTube, OpenSea, how to create NFT for free. Something like that. I have another platform. Before I go, one more platform. This one's called the Sandbox. So if you're trying to create NFTs and you want to join a community where people are selling them, you can try this. This is actually a video game, I believe, where you can create voxel characters for it and sell them as NFTs, which is pretty interesting. pretty unique, and that's something that I want to do. So I joined it, but I haven't done much with it. I haven't built out into it yet, but I plan on doing that. And a lot of my characters that I'm working on designing and building out on Blender, I'm gonna convert those into voxels and then try to move them over, which will be really interesting to do. So I'll see what I could do with that as well. But other than that, maybe I'll show up with my next video on that type of subject matter of how to do that. And I think y'all folks would find that interesting for sure. If you most definitely can make money as an NFT creator using this community, but starting with Blender, it would be amazing that you can do that. But I think it's doable because I already created NFTs in the past. Well, not NFTs, but created voxel characters using Blender. So yeah, it's powerful stuff that you could do. So other than that, I'm out of here. Just love and peace to all, like I said, and I'll see you next time.